everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. I'm really excited for you guys to hear from our guest speaker on using webinars to reach your target audience. Webinars are a lot of times used in the corporate world, and we see them reaching out to their customers, but not so much in higher ed. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from this new platform and maybe open your eyes to an idea that you could throw into your marketing mix to reach your potential students, your target audience, your parents, and just really try something new with your marketing efforts. So really excited for you guys to meet David today. He's the co-founder of a company called Demio, which is a webinar solution for being able to broadcast, and really excited for you guys to meet him. So I'm going to turn over the presentation to him.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks you, for bringing us on. Like you said, I'm the co-founder of Demio. We created a webinar platform about 2 years ago. My partner and I had built a couple marketing companies, and we realized the power of webinars. We were literally getting some of the best marketing conversion rate from doing live webinars. It allowed us to engage with our prospects. We could have one-on-one conversations when it was a one-to-many presentation. So we could have up to 1,000 people on these calls. We could talk about maybe a sales pitch, or talk about the marketing solution of our platform. So we might go through the different pain points that there are in the market, how our solution helps it. We put it in a 45-minute long presentation, market that, and then we would sell to 1,000 people at one time. We would get up to 25% conversion rate. And so we're talking about maybe 240 customers at a time in one setting in like an hour. So you can do a lot of really powerful things. Now, webinars aren't just great for marketing and sales. Webinars are also really amazing for engagement, prospecting, so bringing in new leads, engaging leads, convert them to customers. You can also do it for onboarding. So a lot of times, like we'll do for our software, when we bring in new customers, we'll onboard them. We'll do a one-on-one demo with them, and we'll use this platform. So we're speaking directly with each other. We're able to show our screen, go through a presentation, talk about the software. We also do like live trainings on them. You can do live Q&A. So there's a lot of applicable ways to do this. Now, one of the things you were talking about earlier was maybe even, having a conversation, an academic conversation about, your progress reports for the year, whatever it is, right? You could do that on here, and you could even go through, share your screen and show off those pieces of the platform, and then the rest of you guys are having a conversation. And so we wanted to build a platform that was really built for marketing and sales, with also a great understanding of the reliability that's needed for a platform like this, that has high quality, low latency streaming. So you can actually have that conversation. So we just spent about 2 years in development to build this, and we just launched beta about 1.5 months ago.
That is awesome. And so you guys have this great new platform for people to be able to leverage, really because you weren't finding what you needed in the marketplace, which is, necessity and being the mother of invention. And I think really that students and parents right now, this is something that would be very useful and interesting to them, right? They want to connect with you. They want to be able to get information when they need it. And if the platform is user-friendly and easy for them to understand, this just seems like a no-brainer.
Exactly. And so we had 3 major pillars when we put this together. It was reliability, it was a high quality, low latency stream, and it was attendee experience, or user experience, to be more specific. So really, with a webinar, you may join for the first time ever onto our platform as an attendee. You may also be invited as a presenter to come on, like you were invited to be a presenter today. Now, it's really important that you're able to come in and intuitively understand what's happening. What am I looking at? What buttons am I hitting? How do I use this? So all those things came into effect, and we literally went through rounds and rounds of revisions on user interface. But on the inside of Demio, to create a webinar, you can literally create a webinar in about 10 seconds, 5 seconds, depending on the title length. And then you can customize it as much as you want. You can add as many customizations to it, add the marketing features that you want. And then so you can launch a webinar by joining Demio within 30 seconds. You can be up and running a webinar.
That's awesome. And really, I don't know of any other tool that's that intuitive. Even just trying to figure out where do I go? How do I log in? How do I create anything? So
Exactly. Yeah. And so we really wanted to make that super easy. And I can actually take you through, if you want, and show you what it looks like on both ends.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. Do you guys want to see? Let's watch.
Cool. So I just actually opened my screen here, and we'll be looking at right now the webinar backstage. This is actually where the coordinators hang out. So you're a coordinator. I'm the host. I'm presenting. And so we're actually here in this backstage area. If we had attendees on live, they would be able to be seen in this attendee section back here. We could actually open a listing of our attendees, go through, turn on their webcams or microphones, so they could also join in this conversation along the way. Again, the way we like to think about webinars is a conversation. We're having a conversation with a one-to-many feel to it, but we want to still make people feel like it's very personal. And that's going to come back into something I'll talk about in a little bit, which is segmentation. But in here, you can share your screen. So I can choose to stop sharing, share different screens. I can pass you the presenter control. So if you wanted to share your screen, you could do that. We have chat up here where we have general and coordinators chat. So you can talk to different people on the webinar, the full attendees. I can speak just to our coordinators, and that's all found back here. Now, currently we are in a beta process, and we've been in it for about 1.5 months. We have about 700 plus beta users in right now, and we'll be continuing this to about November 9th. And up to that point, we'll be adding back in a lot of our cooler features. So back here in the backstage, you're also going to have polls and materials, so you can upload handouts. You can lock and unlock those handouts. You can put in buttons for call to action. So if you're doing a marketing or sales webinar, you can send them to a certain place. We'll probably also have inline files, so you can upload PowerPoint presentations directly into your browser. So a lot of cool things directly in the webinar. But yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like back here. And again, very intuitive, very clean, and all the distractions are eliminated when you actually go, and I'm going to stop sharing, but when you actually go directly into this side of the screen, and let me just open a window, otherwise we'll get a reflection here. Give me 1 second.
This is so much more intuitive too. Really interesting. Looking at the icon, and just really easy to understand. I think you're using easily representable images for people to really notice where they are and what should I click and where's the wayfinding. I love it. This is great.
Absolutely. And one of the things I'm going to do here, this is going to look weird because I'm looking at my own screen, sharing my screen, but you can also change sizing in here. So you can really make it kind of customizable for your presentation. And as an attendee, you can even make it so that, if you don't really want to have a lot of focal point on the cameras, you can minimize that and stuff like that. So we've really tried to make this as intuitive as possible. So I appreciate that. But what we can do now is we can actually walk through the user side as well.
Excellent.
So this is actually what it looks like inside the Demio user account. And what you'll see here is there's actually a webinar that we're running on Friday. We used one of our pages. We set this up fairly quickly. We put a title in, put a date and time. I mailed out to this yesterday. We have 286 registrations already.
Wow.
So this is going to be a presentation that we're going to run on Friday. But this is exactly what it'll look like when you have registrations and stuff like that. But setting up a webinar is super simple. Like I said before, it could take, maybe 10 seconds to set it up. So let's set up a test webinar. And I put in my title. I can put in a tag, which is really basically for categorization later. Like, so if you're doing like an educational series, you could title it for that. And then you can go back later and find all the webinars in the educational series versus like maybe a sales or marketing webinar. You can put in a description. And you can choose your date and time. So let's go ahead and choose today at 2:30. I'm going to click continue, and just like that, my webinar has been created. The event is ready to go at 2:30.
That is awesome. Like literally, like 4 clicks, and you're live.
Exactly.
This is great.
Yeah, so we try to make it as simple as possible. As you can see, you'll actually have a full registration page set up as well. So you'll have your title and your time, a little countdown to it. People can register. And then there's a thank you page that has a calendar invitation so they can add it to their calendar, their unique join link. And it's nice and simple. So that's really how it is. It's as simple as you want it, but you can also customize this much more.
Oh, neat.
So, yeah, and it's really cool because sometimes you just want to get a webinar up and running. Like sometimes you just want to have a conversation with someone, you just want to get on a call. So boom, you have it, it's done, it's simple, you can save it and launch it. but sometimes you're also doing a larger presentation. So you may want to go into our registration page. You may want to integrate it with a autoresponder or a CRM. So you can actually use one of our 7 native integrations, CRMs, for instance, like a MailChimp. And you can integrate your account with MailChimp and set up a webinar list. So anyone that registers is now going to be registered into that CRM. So that's one of our integrations here. We also have a large account called Zapier. We can sync with up to 300 plus CRMs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it's a really big, powerful feature. So whether you're a solopreneur or a business, or you're just doing consulting, this type of integration or segmentation is crucial for your marketing, because you want to know who registers for what, who actually did go, who didn't go. And so our integrations come really into play. And I'll kind of touch on that right after this. But that's the first part of our registration page. Now, the next thing is you may want to update that page itself. So you can come into our launch editor. You can change the logos by clicking on our logos. You can change title and subtitles with just clicking and pointing. And one of the features that we'll be releasing with our grand opening is a lot more customization in here. So you'll have a place to put in videos and images and bullet points, and you can change colors up here, so you can really customize this for your brand. And you'll also be able to put in pixels, so you can put in like your retargeting pixels or conversion pixels or Google Analytics. So all these things are marketing tools that help you understand and segment your audience better for advertising, or for looking at advertising costs down the road. And this is all very
awesome. That's so great, because if you're a school that's maybe running a Facebook ad for a talk maybe with your admissions counselor, or a meet the major or meet the dean, you could put those in there and have those integrations, and then know how those ads are doing. Are you getting viewers from that? Are your students then going into and actually becoming applicants, and then who are you actually targeting? So that's awesome analytics on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So one of our favorite phrases is you can't grow what you don't measure. And I totally just butchered that, but that's the gist of it, which is we really got to know what's happening. So we do that in 2 ways, which is one, analytics, which we show after a webinar is over, and then also segmentation with our integrations. So it's super powerful to really help you understand what's working, what's not. And just to stay on this track before I get too distracted with our integrations and segmentation, we also have an embed button here, which is pretty cool. So for those people that don't want to use our landing pages, and they want to use like maybe an outside landing page builder, like a lead pages or ClickFunnels or WordPress website builders or something like that, they can actually copy our code over, which brings in this integration.
Oh, wow.
Copy that over, just paste it into their landing page builders, and they can use their own and have Demio just kind of on the back end there.
Wow. So you could actually run it right from your college website there. That's awesome.
Exactly. And we're going to have also at grand release a button that pops up. So you could even put like just a button on your website that pops up a date and time for them to sign up for. So that sign up form could just be literally a button pop up. And that easy to get people on your webinar. So you could do, 5 dates and times during the week, and then have a button for them to sign up on the website.
That's awesome. And just so much easier than anything I've seen on the market that's anything similar.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're aiming for. So yeah, that's the registration process. We also have the ability to invite other coordinators. So if you're doing a presentation and you want someone else to come on, maybe someone that's going to present their screen, they can sign up in the roles section down here. You can invite sub-users into your account that stay kind of static, so you can one-click invite them as well. So if I wanted to invite Wyatt, I can one-click invite him by clicking send and invite him as a coordinator to join me on this presentation, share their screen at some point, and have control of the presentation.
Oh, wow. So you could even load all of your staff in there and then have them just 2 clicks. You're coming to this webinar. It's going to show up on your dashboard. It's you're already in there. That's awesome.
Exactly. And you can up to 15 coordinators on one webinar at a time.
Oh, wow.
One presenter can go at a time, but everyone can talk at this, have their microphones on. You can have up to 3 webcams going at the same time. So it can be very much of a group conversation. You can have like a panel and stuff, and it's pretty powerful.
That's great. I'm super excited about this. This is awesome.
Awesome. One of the things that we don't have that I wish I could show you right now, because it's so important to what I was talking about before, which is segmentation, is what we call our automated rules. Now, our automated rules are basically powered by our integrations. So on a webinar, there's a variety of actions that can happen, and those actions really determine how you want to market or speak or look at the registrations and the registrants that come to your webinar. So just to explain a little bit more, someone signs up for your webinar and they don't go to your webinar. They actually skip it. Something comes up. Someone registers for your webinar, joins, and leaves after 25 minutes, and it's an hour-long presentation, so maybe 25% of the way through. Someone registers for your webinar, watches all the way to a pitch. Maybe you're pitching something on the webinar, and then leave. Someone joins your webinar, completes it, and then leaves when it ends. All those different actions are different, really, I guess you could even say objection points that they may have to your presentation. The person that didn't go to the webinar needs to be spoken to in a different, I would say, marketing language than the guy that finishes it, right? They may have seen your pitch. They may have watched the entire presentation. They know all the content. The email or the follow-up that you give them should be very different than the one that watched all the way to the pitch and left, because their objection may be now based on price or the offer or something like that. So our automated rules allow you to set up things like, if my registrant skips the webinar, I want to add them to a specific list in MailChimp. And then in MailChimp, I can send out an email, or I can set up an automated email in those lists to go out. So I can have this automation set up so that my automated rules can run every time for a webinar and it'll automatically trigger for them. And so I'm having this marketing automation fire in real time to what's happening on the webinar and what's actually happening in my marketing process.
Wow. That's awesome. So if you have students maybe that have registered for this webinar and they miss it, you can send them something like, hey, sorry you missed us. Here's when we're next going to be in your town, that sort of thing. And definitely, like you were saying, that's a very different message than that student who maybe missed halfway through or didn't stay all the way till the end. And then just to have it already done, the language is already there, and having it automatically sent out to your students would be a huge time saver, I would imagine.
Exactly, 100%, absolutely. And once you set those rules up once, you can copy them to any new webinar, so you can keep the same rules going. So that type of automation is extremely powerful. And again, it goes back to our philosophy that webinars are really a conversation, and the more targeted you can be with your messaging to make it feel personal to people, the better that communication becomes. So that's really powerful. And just to kind of give you an example of what that looks like, if you are in an account, and I'm going to actually flip over to another one just so we can see a larger account. In our contact section, we actually store these cumulatively, so we store all your contacts. So you may have had, let's say you did 10 webinars and you have 500 contacts in here from people that have registered for each webinar. You can actually come through and you can search for a webinar. And you can see who registered for which webinars, and this is kind of an example of that segmentation. You can see who attended, who left early, maybe who completed. And let's say you're running a series, you're running multiple webinars. You can actually stack these on top of each other and then figure out, okay, who registered for both of these webinars? Who attended both of these webinars? And now I can see the segment of my audience who've been doing certain actions.
Wow, that's awesome. So maybe they signed up and then, maybe missed the first one or saw the second one. You can then reach out to that prospective student or parent. That's huge.
Exactly.
To not have to actually just scroll through Excel spreadsheets or really just flying blind. Like if I know we put on this event, but we don't really know who showed up, who didn't show up, and why they didn't show up. So this is excellent.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And that's really the power here. So you can stack as many of these as you want, and we're going to continue diving into stuff like this. This is really like a big focus for us. And then to go back to what you were saying before about analytics, that's something really important to us. So if you go through your past webinars, you can look at, I'm going to pull up a webinar here, the report of your webinar. So for us, here we can see how long our webinar was, the peak attendance, at what point in the webinar. We can see attendance over time, who came in, who came out, the interaction points. We're also going to have places where you can see engagement. So who was actually logged in the browser, like I could literally see in this graph whether or not you were actually in the Demio browser or maybe you were in Facebook. So I could see like what the engagement
That's
level was
awesome.
through it. Yeah, it's really powerful. You can see the different stats throughout. Right now, just in beta, we have just the attendees. So you can see who your attendees were, what their chat messages were. If there's questions, we'll be able to see the questions that come through. We'll have one for polls, so you can see who answered which polls, what automated rules fired into who. So all that data is going to be stored back here, and we're really going to go super in depth on this over time to make sure that you get actionable analytics back from your webinar to make decisive and correct movements to either follow up with the right people, answer sales objections, or follow through with better marketing, or even just kind of see what's happening on those webinars so that you can improve it in the future.
That's awesome. I mean, really being able to see, oh, well, here, people knocked off here. What were we saying at that point in the webinar that was turning people off? Or was there a problem? Was the message wrong? Did we have technical issues? Being able to see where in your presentation people really weren't engaged is going to be massive. If you're doing, an admissions talk and you can see that your people aren't even on that browser window, that's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes back to, you just got to know what's happening so that you can make the right assessment to what's going to be best and where in the webinar presentation, like you said. So the more you learn from your analytics, the better those things will go, the better the presentations will be. So that's really, why analytics are so important to this whole process.
That is awesome. So at the end of these, this would then live in your dashboard, I'm assuming, so you could go back through if you were doing reports, you could pull screenshots, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So in the past events on your dashboard, you'll find all the reporting from your past webinars. Wow. If you're looking for the recording, what we actually do is we automatically start the recording for you as soon as your webinar has started. And the reason we do that is because I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but I've been on other webinars where I forgot to hit the record button, and then you basically lose an entire recording. So we start the recording process for you, and then we automatically upload that recording directly into your webinar user account. So you can actually see, the video streams. You can see actually if there's no screen being shared, we fill in a placeholder for you. And then if you have webcams and screen sharing at the same time, we kind of put it together for you so it looks very similar to the presentation. And so you get a recording that comes out that looks similar to your actual live presentation.
That's awesome.
And that's all stored for you in your account. And at launch, we'll also have replay pages for you. So if you don't want to download and upload this to like YouTube or Vimeo, we'll actually have this uploaded to a replay page that you can use to send out automatically if you wanted to send out that replay.
That's excellent. I'm thinking for being able to, be able to recycle webinars that you've done. If you've got, a Meet the Dean series, and you do that live and you have attendees, you could then, embed that on your website or somewhere else, and people could watch it again, see it, go back and actually redo it again themselves, or, new people being able to check it out. And so you're not losing that content just because the
Exactly. So, one of the cool things with the replay pages is down the road, we'll continue to build into them so that you can have, like you said, deeper analytics there, maybe even a gateway so that if someone wanted to come watch a past replay, they had to put in their first name and email so you would get some lead information or know who actually went back to watch. So all those things will help you then improve and maybe even play into those automated rules to help your marketing process, whether it's, like you said, maybe an interview or just a enrollment process, whatever that is, help that whole automation, that whole process really get fine-tuned so the right people get the right message at the right time.
That is huge. I really think that's a missing piece in what people are doing right now. We might say, oh, we did this great video and we're watching the views on YouTube, but how are those translating, right? What is another 100 views mean? Were those 100 students? Were those 100 parents? Right. Did they click on and then click off? How much of that information did they actually get? And then how do you reach out to those people who were those 100 views? This way, you'll be able to see who those people were. And if you want to reach out to them and let them know, hey, saw that you checked out our admissions video. Do you have any questions? It really brings the other side of that conversation back. So you're not just, blasting messages out into cyberspace and then never know what happens to them.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think you just nailed it 100%. That's awesome. But cool. I mean,
This is great. So you guys are going to be live soon, right? Out of beta and like officially.
that's right. That's right. We'll be officially live on November 9th. We'll be
Okay.
launching November 9th, and we have a launch week, a 7-day special going on at November 9th to 16th. And then we'll be kind of stabilizing and going strong and steady from there. Really, one major goal of ours is to really listen and learn from our customers, make sure that we're putting in the right features with the right places. And we have a lot on our roadmap that we want to do moving forward to really make this application shine and provide the right tools for all kinds of business, educational systems, anything that we can do to help create a better, marketing and video engaging platform is really where we're aiming to go.
I have so many ideas. Like, this is just absolutely incredible. I'm thinking of ways that I could use this with my advisees, being able to, post a link and say, hey, we're going to do group advising. Everybody watch, we're going to do this, or career workshops with our career services department, admissions, being able to reach, potential parents and families who maybe can't come to campus.
Yeah.
Professors, being able to have interactions within their class that are more engaging than just the professor posting a video and the student having to watch. There's so many applications for this. This is
that's
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's going to be something that we learn as we move forward, is how can we continue, like, as you go through that process and you find ways to use it, we can even find other cool features and stuff to put in that would kind of accentuate that a little bit more, to really build into it and give you guys the best value that you can get.
This is awesome. I'm super sold. I can't wait for to play with it some more, and then for you guys to go live and see all the new features and polling and being able to do handouts. That's just going to be huge. Right now, that I don't really know of anything that's that comprehensive. A lot of times you have to, upload links or put it in Dropbox and then send your viewers to another place or make sure that they get it beforehand. There's a lot of moving parts, and you guys really do a great job of bringing it all into one screen to be able to access everything that you need when you need it, and easy for your attendees. Because if it's not easy, they're not going to do it. Especially for consumers, but especially for students. If it's not easy, they're not going to spend the time to take to do it. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, ease of use is a huge thing. So we'll continue to improve and grow it. And I think one of the hardest things for software to do is to add all those features and add all those cool things in there, but keep it simple. So we'll continue to work on that and make sure that we provide that for everyone.
This is awesome. I'm super excited about it. Thank you so much, David, for showing us all the really cool things. And I'm sure everybody's going to be super excited about it. Where can they go to get more information and to sign up and launching and all of that stuff?
Sure, absolutely. So if you go to demio.com, demio.com, we have all the information right now to sign up for beta, so they can actually get a beta account. We'll be updating that website to have all the launch information right around October 19th. Will be the launch information. We'll probably be closing down beta around that same period. And then launch week, like I said, is going to be on the 9th to the 16th. And we'll have that whole website and everything will be easily redirected. We'll have a grand opening webinar where they can join and really be a part of the launch week. And then afterwards, our website would be the best place to go. We also have a really cool, I think a lot of people would like this, a really cool kind of behind the scenes blog at demio.com/inside. And it's our journey to building this company. We actually did a video series beginning of the year, Wyatt and myself, my partner, and kind of building the business. And we took down the video series, but we're going really hard with transparency. So talking a lot about, what it's like for us in beta, what we're trying to accomplish, some of the milestones along the way, so that you can kind of follow along there. And we're also putting out different marketing and, marketing and sales lessons that we've learned and lessons that we've learned along the way. So that's all there as well if anyone wants to follow along there.
That is awesome. And being able to learn from you guys and having had built businesses and encountered challenges, and then that drove you to build new businesses, which which is great, and for those of us who get to benefit for that, but also as an inspiration for students to be able to say, oh, I want to do this too. Here's someone, and here was their journey and their path to making their idea happen. Is really, really great, and kind of paying that forward and sharing those lessons that you guys have learned, which is great. So I guess thank you so much, David, for taking the time to spend with us today. And thank you for everybody on Higher Ed Social checking us out and watching this replay later. Really excited to have you guys along with us. And if you have any questions, post up and let us know. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.